Multisensory human bond communication. Human bond communication (HBC) is a novel concept that incorporates all five sensory information from sensing to digitalization to transmission and replication at the receiver to allow more expensive, engaging, realistic, and holistic information between humans and, in some cases, between humans and machines M2H or IoTs. Here in the picture, Communications Magazine Multisensory Human Bond Communication Design and Implementation of Devices, Circuits and Systems, Internet of Things, and Sensor Net. Multisensory Human Bond Communication Approach. The effective use of various senses for receiving information from various sources is known as multisensory approach. As a literal definition, multisensory comes from two pieces of words. The two words are multi and sensory. Multi means more than one. Sensory involves or it's delivered from the senses. Concept. Margaret Taylor Smith developed multisensory teaching approach (MTA) in the mid-80s as a refined and more teacher-friendly curriculum that enhances and further develops alphabetic phonics by teaching for mastery. Use a multisensory teaching technique means helping a child to learn through more than one sense. VAKT, a multisensory approach, also known as VACT, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile. Visual, seeing and perceiving through their eyes, auditory, hearing and speaking through their ears, kinesthetic, movement and doing through body movements, tactile, through touch. Visual learner. Visual learner, they learn by seeing words in printed form of by using graphics and pictures, observing real life and other visual aids. Auditory learners. Learners, they learn reading by listening to someone present information orally and by Here we see the cone of learning. Here is a pyramid. I see and I forgot. I hear and I remember. I do and I understand. Conficus. After 2 weeks, we tend to remember. Reading 10% of what we read. Hearing words 20% of what we hear. Seeing 30% of what we see. Watching a movie. Looking an exhibit. Watching a demonstration. Seeing it done on location. 50% of what we see and hear. Participating in a discussion. Giving a talk. 70% of what we say. Doing a dramatic presentation. Simulating the real experience. Doing to real thing. 90% of what we say and do. Allowed to discuss and ask questions. Tactile learners. Tactile learners learn through their sense of touch, such as using their hands and fingers. They learn best their writing, drawing, hand and manipulative. Kinesthetic learners. Kinesthetic learners learn best through movement of their small or gross motor muscles. They take information best while moving and doing, being involved in projects, role playing, learning while standing up and engaging in real life activities. Dale's cone of experience in 1946, Edgar, Ed, Ed, Edgar Daniel introduced the cone of experience. The cone of experience is a pictorial device used to explain the interrelationship of the various types of audiovisual media as well as their individual positions in the learning process. The cone utility is selecting instructional resources and activities is a practical today as when Dale created it. Next, we will discuss verbal symbols, principal medium of communication, bear no physical resemblance to the objects or ideas for which they stand, may be a word for concretion, idea, scientific principle, and formula. Disadvantages: highly abstract visual symbols, chalkboard, whiteboard, flat maps, diagrams, charts fits the tempo of presentation of idea, topic or situation. Very easy to produce and prepare. Limitations: lack of ability to use the media, size of individuals, simplification of various visual materials leads to microconceptions. Recordings, radio, still pictures, attention getting, particularly projected views, concentrize verbal abstraction. Limitations: size of pictures or illustrations, expenses of projected materials and equipment, timing difficulties between radio shows and classroom lessons, television and motion pictures. Next point, a solution to time and space constraints provides windows to the world, effective for presenting movement, continuity of ideas or events, substitute for dangerous direct learning experiences. Limitations: expensive viewing problems, timing with classroom lessons, misconceptions about time, size, and ideas, exhibits present objects or processes otherwise impossible inside the classroom, exposure to new ideas, discoveries, inventions, problems that may be encountered too little space time, consuming maintenance, demonstration, visualized explanation of an important fact or idea or processes, may require nothing more than observation, or students may be asked to do what has just been shown how to do. Disadvantages: ideas or processes might not be interrupted or convinced very well. Visibility to all learners. Field trip undertaken primarily for the purpose of experiencing something that cannot be encountered within the classroom. A rich experience in learning about objects, systems, and situations. Disadvantages: time consuming, expensive, high exposure to danger, accidents, inadequate of the community's resources. Dramatized experiences help get closer to certain realities that are no longer available at first hand. String and attention getting participant learners to understand intimately the character he portrays. Teacher cooperative work. Disadvantages: time consuming without commensurate results. Participation is limited to few individuals. Contrived experiences and editing of reality. Substitutions for confusing or unmanageable first-hand experiences. Easier to handle, manipulate, or operate. Disadvantages: simplification leads to misconceptions, distorted views, and incomplete pictures of reality. No freedom to handle expensive or fragile models, mock-up specimens, etc. Direct, purposeful experiences. Unabridged version of life. Its self-direction, participation with responsibility, the basis of for the most effective and lasting learning. Disadvantages: no, all things can be learned through direct first-hand experiencing. Now we will discuss totally once revise. Human bond communication, HBC. Multisensory human bond communication, design and implementation of devices, circuits and systems, Internet of Things, and sensor networks. First approach: visual learner, concept of learning, kinesthetic learners, verbal symbols, etc. We learned many more. Thank you. Presented by P. Harshavardhan Yadav from Data Science Section A.